All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're glad you could join us for this preview of What's the Big Idea and the What's the Big Idea app that will soon be released. We've got some exciting information to share with you. We've got a couple of guest speakers that are joining us tonight, and so we're glad you could be here. Let me just start off with I'm going to share something with you I think you'll actually find kind of amusing, but kind of scary at the same time. And that, what you're seeing here is, I call this slide Things Change. Grover Cleveland, when he was the president of the United States, that's a long time ago now, but he literally said, sensible and responsible women do not want to vote. Boy, things have changed a lot on that, haven't they? Here's another good one. The president and co-founder of Warner Brothers Pictures, Harry Warner, this was back in the era of the silent films. He said, who the hell wants to hear actors talk? Another one that I love is from Tris Speaker, who had kind of a funny name, but he was a Hall of Fame baseball player. He said Ruth made a big mistake when he gave up pitching. And he only went on to be one of the greatest hitters in the history of Major League Baseball. And then the final coup d'etat was from Charles H. Dewey, who was literally the director of the United States Patent Office. And this was from 1899, over 100 years ago. He said that everything that can be invented has been invented. And he said that in the context of proposing to shut down the United States Patent Office. How crazy is that? Well, listen, things change. And in the world we live in today, things are changing a lot. And they're changing very rapidly. And I think if you learn to adapt to that world, you can be in great shape. You know, whenever there's times of change, there can be just amazing opportunities, but you have to know how to take advantage of those. And the What's the Big Idea app is one of those things that's going to help people take advantage of those opportunities. So, but listen, you have to be aware of things, and the challenge is sometimes we're not aware of things. And so let me go on to the next slide here. For everybody that's watching here, I want you to look at where is the arrow in the FedEx logo. Now, if you've never seen this before, and hang on, guys, I'm getting a message that you're only seeing me. You're not seeing my beautiful slides. So, okay, I think you are now. All right, so I'm going to go back 1 second just so you can see that slide. Those quotes really are there, I promise. And so where is the arrow in the FedEx logo?
Arrow.
Take a second and look.
Oh, yeah. I see it.
And if you've never seen that before, you're probably. I know the first time I saw it, I could not see it at all. But let me click to the next slide, and you'll see where it is. It's right there between the E and the X. And the reason I show that is, until you're aware of something, for you it might as well be invisible. Or I'm sorry, for you it is invisible if you're not aware of it. And I say that because for a lot of people, they're not aware that they are a creative person. I can tell you that I'm 54 years old, and for probably the first 49 years of my life, 48 years of my life, I really didn't consider myself to be a creative person. And then I started a company, and I knew we were going to need better ideas. And I thought, boy, there's maybe some roadmaps out there to finding some better ideas. And I discovered a creative thinking technique that the What's the Big Idea game and the What's the Big Idea app are built around. And it's so simple, but I got to tell you, the first time I used it, it shocked me at the amazing ideas I was coming up with. And I didn't think I was creative. And I said, how in the world am I coming up with these ideas? And it just, there's a lot of power in the technique if it's used. And the reason that I invented the game is I said, in order for people to use this on a regular basis, one, it has to have some structure. Two, it has to feel like fun. Because if something feels like fun, people want to do more of it. If something feels like work, people want to do less of it. And two, I felt like it had to embrace competitiveness. And so merging all three of those elements together, I came up with the idea for the game. And so let's talk just a second here about how people's minds work. People think in pictures, they don't think in words. In other words, if I show you the word animal, you don't think of the letters Animal. There's some picture that pops up into your mind. It might be a picture of a dog, or it could be the picture of a camel. It might be the picture of a horse. Heck, it might be that guy from Sesame Street, not Sesame Street, the Muppets, that animal. And so whenever you see a word, there's a picture connotation that pops up into your mind. And the magic in coming up with better ideas is that when you start combining words together, there's new possibility pictures that appear. For example, the two words that we have there, animal plus square. Well, I mean, what could that be? I was looking at this just a little while ago, and I was thinking, well, what could animal square be? Well, it could be, maybe it's a mobile zoo that they have one display every month or every week, and they go around to different cities, and it could be something like that. My wife looked at it, and she came up with an idea for an educational tool where you have an animal, say a cat, inside a circle, and they both start with the same letter. Or you have a dog inside a diamond, and so to use it as a teaching tool. So that technique is at the heart of the game. And the other thing that you can do is you can reverse them and say, well, what would a square animal be? And so that's the technique at the heart of the game. And we're going to get to a little bit more specifics on a preview of the game here in a minute. But if we've got a couple of guests that are here joining us, and somebody's making a bunch of noise here in the background. I apologize for that. And I apologize if somebody, whoever's doing that, if you can mute yourself. Well, listen, I'd like to talk with. We've got a guest on here, and it's Yvette. And Yvette, we've got you on full screen now, and I think that actually might be Kurt. If you can mute yourself out, Kurt, that would be great.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. I think Kurt muted himself. Fantastic. Well, maybe not. Yeah, Yvette, I can hear you. I could hear you just fine.
All right. All right.
And but go ahead. I know you've got some experience. You've got some experience with the game, and give me some feedback on. I know you had a family event the other day, and so give me some feedback on that. Well, I don't know what all that noise is.
Well, I had some family over, and we played the game, as we've had dinner outside in front of a bonfire. So the children, well, the youngest of the children, my granddaughter, was excited about the game as well. Actually, she had the greatest enthusiasm that got the older people to be more enthused and all. And it's funny how children can take off with something, and it seemed like she was being silly. And it's funny as I shared the experience with you, because we all ended up laughing at each other's ideas, critiquing ideas, and all. The game is so engaging, it's really addictive. But for someone so young to be so caught up in the game, and as I shared the fun experience with you, and spoke back to you a few days later, only to find out that this innocent little person walking around talking about ching, 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 because the game, she had a marketable idea, to only find out that quite possibly she has a marketable idea.
That's amazing. And you and she's, and if I remember right, Yvette, she's 10 years old, right?
10 years old. She's
How
10
amazing
years
is that? You know, I like to tell people that anybody from 10 to 110 can use this game and the app that's coming out to come up with just amazingly good ideas. And it's just it's astounding that you know, that she is 10 years old and she came up with that idea. And you were telling me also that you had an uncle there who and how old is he?
He's probably about 66, probably about 66 years old. Just really, really funny, really funny. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to get involved in all of that. And after a while, he hears all the noise and the laughter and all of that. And before you know it, he's dived in the game. And at this point now, he knows about my granddaughter's idea. And he's he's rooting for himself to think up a great idea. He's got lots of ideas. He bred shepherd, so now he's thinking he's got to get this idea on how he's going to get this German shepherd thing going. I don't know what the thing is, but he's at it. So from 10 to 68, everybody very much engaged.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think Kurt lost his connection or something. If he gets a chance to rejoin us, that'd be great. I have him say, you know, some commentary on his experience with the game too. But let's go. I'm gonna jump back in. We're gonna go through a couple of other things in terms of the game. I want to show you guys a little bit about the. Yeah, if you guys can mute yourself out, that would be fantastic. We're getting a bunch of noise here for some reason. So what I want to show you guys is take a look at this. Remember, we looked at before at the at combining two words together. Well, in the game itself and in the app too, you get 10 words on most challenges. You get 10 words to match any two of those words together and come up with an idea for a new product, a new service, a new business, or an improvement on something that already exists out there in the marketplace. And so take a quick look at these words and see what kind of ideas you could come up with. I mean, you know, what could a night calendar be? What could a night poster be? You know, what could a night guitar be? I'm just sort of combining all kinds of different things together and seeing new possibilities. You know, what could a balloon horse be, or a horse balloon? And you see how when you can experience that when you're putting those words together, it really does make a huge difference in activating that imaginative part of your brain that, frankly, most people haven't used since they were about 5 years old. And so let me show you a couple of screens that we've got from the game. This is, I'm sorry, from the app. This is the home screen of the app here that you're seeing over on the left. And then when once you go in and you choose a game, there are 3 different options. You've got a solo game where you can just use this by yourself to come up with ideas. And I have a friend of mine who's helping us to beta test, and he tells me whenever he has a couple of extra minutes, as opposed to going on Facebook or Twitter or something like that, he'll actually jump in and just launch a solo game and come up with ideas. And he said that the more he tries to do it, the more he works with it, the easier it is for him to see new ideas. So that's the solo game. The next is the local multiplayer game, and the way that works, and that's really what the game is. You can work with the solo game, but the local multiplayer and the internet play, which are going to be coming soon, that's really the game. The way the game is set up is you have a customer team who is sort of acts as the judge, and the two players that are playing against one another are the inventor and the competitor. And each one of them get a set of words, and they've got 3 minutes to come up with an idea, and at the end of 3 minutes, each team presents to the customer team what it is, what it does, and what are the benefits, and then the customer team decides, hey, do I like this person's idea better? Do I like this person's idea better? And then play moves around from device to device, and the device keeps score. And so it's a little hard to explain, but once you experience it the first time, you will be absolutely hooked. And then internet play, let me back up a step. The local multiplayer version, you've got to be on the same Wi-Fi network. So you could be in somebody's house, you could be in an office, you could be in a Panera or a Starbucks, anywhere where you're on the same Wi-Fi network. That's local multiplayer. It's sort of designed to be kind of a face-to-face thing. The internet play, which is going to be on a subsequent release of the app, a subsequent update, that is going to allow you to play games against anybody anywhere in the world. And the neat thing about that is I can work my round anytime I want to, anytime I have 3 minutes essentially. I can do my play, and then I can submit my idea over, and then the competitor team can do theirs when they have 3 minutes, and then the customer team is going to get notified when both ideas are ready, and then they can do their judging from there. And so you see what the gameplay screen looks like here. You've got the words kind of like what we looked at before. You've got the opportunity to have bonus words that if you're looking at these 10 words, you're making combinations, you're just not seeing a darn thing. You can click right there on one of the bonus word squares and get an extra word, and you can get up to 2 per round. And then what happens is you select your words, those go down there in the blank blue squares there, and then once you're done, then those are the words that show up on the customer screen, and you have to explain what your idea is. So that's how that works. And let me show you I've got kind of a screen capture of gameplay, and let me just kind of show you what that looks like, how you can move words around. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. So this is what it looks like when you're inside the app, and we've got a cool theme song, but I didn't want to clutter this up too much with the music. Actually, if you want to listen to the music, it is it's available on a streaming video that we've got that's actually posted on the Facebook page for What's the Big Idea. So you get an idea how you can move those things around. I got a little bit of music going in the background, but yeah, you get the idea. All right, so okay. Whoop, sorry, I muted myself out there for a second, guys. Apologize. Coming up with ideas in and of itself, that's a lot of fun, and you'll have a blast with it. One of the things that I found is that people, two things happen while people are playing this game. One, over and over and over, you hear people saying, "Boy, that is a darn good idea," and often they're just amazed that either they came up with or one of their friends came up with, a really good idea. But the other thing that happens all the time is people just laugh their heads off, and it's just it's astounding to people, the ideas they come up with and how much fun it is to come up with ideas. So just playing the game in and of itself, it's a lot of fun. You'll have a blast with it, and it could be that's all you want to do with it. But what if? What if? Frankly, I think most people kind of feel locked out of the free enterprise system, and they'd like to do better. They'd like to have a little bit more control of their life, or at least make a little bit more money, and but they don't really feel like they have much of a shot to do that. Some of the things that people have tried doing in the past in order to control their life a little bit more are, they've been given the advice that you need to go back to school, and assuming you have the time and the money, well, that's a really kind of a big deal in today's world. It's so much more expensive to go get formal education in the traditional way, at least, than it used to be. Or they'll try to work more hours, either on their current job or get a part-time job somewhere, if that's even available to them. Or they'll try some sort of a part-time business, which most people end up failing at. And that just those three things are, well, I guess they're okay, but I think where we are in the world today, there's a whole lot. There's been really, for lack of a better term, I'd call it a paradigm shift in what's available to people to help them control their own life. And so, getting back to what we're talking about on coming up with ideas, 95% of the people in the world, even if they came up with the greatest idea in the history of human existence, they're probably not going to go build a company around that idea. It just doesn't fit their lifestyle. It doesn't fit their confidence level. But on the other hand, if they could get that idea in the hands of somebody who would run with it, who would essentially do all the work on it, in terms of manufacturing, marketing, sales, that kind of thing, and they could make some money from that idea, the overwhelming majority of people that I talk to are very interested in doing that. And so that's what we have done on the other side. What's the Big Idea is created by me, and it's published by our company, which is SpearPoint Solutions. And SpearPoint Solutions helps to take the ideas that the 95% of people create and get those in the hands of the 5% of people who actually, will do something, put that into action, and put it out there in the marketplace. And so that's kind of an exciting time. And the question is, hey, are companies open to ideas? And so, I'd like to, in order to talk a little bit about that and tell kind of his experience with the game and the app too, we've got joining us from all the way from beautiful Litchfield, Connecticut. We've got Mark Heilshorn, who is our director of monetization, and his job is to interface with those companies on that side of the equation, to take those great ideas that people are creating and get them in the hands of the right companies. And so, Mark, first, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the game, and then talk a little bit about what your experience has been with interfacing with a few different companies?
Yeah, my pleasure, Bob. I'm happy to do that. My experience with the game kind of brought me into a room with a few friends of mine, and we were at a cigar bar of all places, and we were just having some fun there. And I pulled out a big old picnic table and spread the words out on the table. And we weren't the only ones there. There were a couple of other other guys that were just kind of lounging around, and we started playing this game. We were having so much fun. They started interjecting and trying to figure out what we were playing. And as it turns out, they were all contributing to the words and the ideas that we were coming up with. So it was this catharsis of ideas that were flowing around the room. And I couldn't believe how much fun we were having, just coming up with zany ideas that came out of out of our imagination. That went back to our days of watching Star Trek and Lost in Space and Star Wars and all these things that just kept cropping up. And so it tapped into this sort of creative, almost adolescent kid-like experience where we were combining words and just coming up with cool ideas. And you know, the competitive nature of the game was definitely there, but by the same token, we were having so much fun. I realized this is a real social game that generates an enthusiasm and a passion and a spirit to come up with these wonderful ideas that in many cases are very applicable in the world we live in. So that was my one of my experiences with the game. I've had a few, but you know, what I do is, and I'll give you an example of what kind of comes across my plate. I have a friend, and I do some yoga. So I have a friend who was doing some yoga with me, and she said, you know, one day I left my yoga mat in the car, and you know, you could barely get in the car the next day because the thing stunk so badly. She said, I was bound and determined to come up with a product that would eliminate the smell. The challenge that she had was that she went the traditional route of finding a lawyer, patent lawyer, and she was an astrophysicist, so she was able to understand the chemical and the physical compounds of what she was looking for. And so she was an educated producer, if you're an educated creator, if you will. Not many are like her necessarily, but she had this great idea. And she started manufacturing it and coming up with the prototype. And she was working with a patent lawyer. And 2 years into it, you know, after $30,000 or $40,000 of time and labor, and lots of grinding teeth and gnashing of minds and hearts and soul, she just decided, all right, I'm done. I just can't do this anymore. And then I ran into her and told her about what we do, and her whole world changed. Her whole disposition changed, her energy changed, and she suddenly realized that she had an opportunity to take her idea through Spearpoint, license it properly, and put it in front of companies that are looking for ideas like hers. And that's pretty much what I do. There are a number of commercial marketing companies that take products like these, advertise them on television, only to seed the market, so that people, when they go to Walmarts and Targets and Rite Aids and some of the other vendors out there like the Kmarts of the world, et cetera, people begin to recognize and have some brand recognition, and then they buy the products. So in a sense, what I do is work with those marketing companies, and also find our own companies that are interested in licensing or purchasing the licensing agreement for products such as these, or yours, if any of you out there are listening. But that's the nature of what we do. We basically take the idea, we mature it, we kind of boil the sap down a little bit, come up with a really refined sell sheet and means to market the product, and then we position it in front of companies that hopefully will want to purchase the idea, and everybody therefore wins in the end. So it's you take a game, a simple game that Bob created, you come up with a really cool idea, you give it some shape, and you work with us. We help you put it into a manageable size, if you will, and something that's tangible and something that's simple. And we pretty much do the work of putting it in front of folks who may want to pick it up for their own use and put it on their shelves. And you see them all the time. They're in stores all over the place.
And Mark, I'm sorry, we're going to get a little feedback probably. But where are we in terms of Julianne's product?
Well, Julianne's product has been placed in 3 what we call commercial marketing companies, and one of them is still kind of figuring out, looking at it. Actually, 2 of them are, and one has decided that it doesn't work for their kind of the kind of product that they like to position. So we're still working with 2 other companies for the product that you just mentioned.
And we've got a pretty good feeling on the one that we're probably going to end up with a monetization agreement from them this week, right?
We are hopeful and expecting great things from that discovery. Yeah.
And the bottom line on we're gonna if it's a decent product, Mark's got that bulldogged determination, and he and his team are going to get it in the hands of the right people in order to to get that to the right person that's going to help monetize that product for you. So, Mark, fantastic. I appreciate you being on.
Happy to be here. It's great to be part of this team. It's a great product. It's a great company, and we're going to do some great things. And all you people out there listening, this is a great opportunity to see creativity at work, and we're going to have a lot of fun at the same time.
Yeah, listen, we don't want to do anything, Mark, except transform the world.
Yeah,
and,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Save some lives, and bring hope back into the lives of people.
Well, exactly. I mean, I have a great affinity for average, ordinary people, and I think that this can do more to help average, ordinary people. Yeah, not just have fun and create some ideas. I mean, that's a blast. You can do that. I have fun with that every day. And but beyond that, what if you can actually make some money from it? That's even better, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks for being on, Mark. I appreciate your time.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of the ways that we use the app. One, we talked about just using it individually, but the other way that we found to use the game is to use it internally with companies and help them, their employees, have them more engaged and sort of be more of a team with their company. And we've coupled that with a recognition and rewards program that the company can reward people for coming up with ideas that can help the company do better, so that they can win bigger at the same time. So you can go beyond just your salary or your hourly wage, and actually give yourself an opportunity to come up with some ideas that will help the company do better, and they'll reward you for that. And as a small business owner, I don't know if we have any of those tuned in tonight, but imagine this as a small business owner. Imagine you had an army of people that had this idea creation app in their hand, and they weren't on your payroll. They took up no space in your building. You didn't pay them any benefits, and their only mission was to come up with ideas to help you be more profitable. And you only paid for the ones you like. I mean, that would be just a perfect world for the small or mid-sized company out there. And imagine on the other side of the equation, you imagine there were a few hundred, maybe even a couple thousand companies that were looking for better ideas, and you could be one of the people to help come up with those ideas. I mean, that just a totally different world. So let's talk about one other thing, and we're going to have this posted on our different social media pages. Between now, it's actually been running for a couple of weeks. Between now and May 31st, we've got an app launch promotion running, and we're giving away some cool stuff. I like to jokingly say that the grand prize is a high-quality tablet computer. Apparently, legally, we're not allowed to say who the manufacturer is, but I can tell you that it's a fruit, a company that it's a fruit. How many computer companies do you know that are fruits? So anyway, but the neat thing about it is this, and this is how that app launch promotion works. You can enter, and then you can let your friends know. You can share that entry with your friends through the link that you get when you sign up. And if any of your friends that you had enter, whatever they win, if they win something, you win the identical thing. So for example, if you wanted a physical copy of the game, if they want a physical copy of the game, you would get that. We're giving away a bunch of different App Store and Play Store gift cards. So if they win one of those, you win one of those. And for every 10 people that you refer who enter, you get another chance just for your own name to be drawn out. So there's great power in that. And, plus, you get to let people know about something really cool that's gonna help them out in their life. And trust me, they're gonna thank you in the long run for that. So be sure to, we'll make sure that link is, in fact, I know it's posted on our Facebook page. All you got to do is I think it's the enter link on the top of the Facebook page. Just click that, and that'll you can do that. And it runs through May 31st. So that's when it closes out. And but the neat thing about that promotion is this, is that we've got the way SpearPoint Solutions has it set up is that we've got that app launch promotion, but beyond the app launch promotion, you're going to have the opportunity to, when you enter that, you get by default a SpearPoint Solutions account. There's no charge to that. There's no obligation. We're not, there's essentially, it just gives you a way to submit your ideas directly. You can do that through the app when it comes out, or you can submit them directly. But anybody that you have that you refer to enter that contest, we're going to link them together with you. And imagine this, could you come up with some great ideas on your own? Sure, you can. And if you use this app, you can come up with some amazingly good ideas. But could you and a dozen people, or you and 100, or you and 1,000 people come up with more good ideas than you could come up with on your own? Well, there's no doubt about it. You absolutely can. And so the way we've structured it is that, let's say if you link together a team of people and somebody you might not even know, it might be somebody that was a friend of a friend, but you linked together with them. If they come up with an idea that they monetize through us, then without costing them anything, we share part of the revenue with you. That is very, very powerful. And it gives you an additional way to potentially monetize this new, I like to say that ideas are the currency of the 21st century. And so, the challenge is most people they've not been trained on how to utilize their imagination in any meaningful way to come up with ideas. And I think this app will do more to help people with that and to help them realize their humanity than anything else ever. And that's kind of a bold statement, but if you're going to be thinking, you might as well think big, and I do. So listen, I appreciate everybody's time tonight. I appreciate you being on with us. Be sure to enter our app launch promotion. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through our Facebook page. You can also, if you have any questions, email support@spearpointonline.com. That's support, SUPPORT, at spearpointonline, SPEARPOINTONLINE.com. So spearpointonline.com. So thanks for your time tonight, everyone. Appreciate it, and go have fun.